What does a typical home look like? How does it compare to homes in other countries? But most importantly, what is it like to live in those homes? Household dynamics, social norms, and cultural factors can all determine what we expect from our homes and how we live in them. However, we still know surprisingly little about how people actually use and perceive their homes, or how design impacts daily routines, social interactions, and well-being. Housing regulations and standards commonly take a generalized approach, standardizing the design requirements of housing, which can overlook individual experiences and needs. Space standards and housing layouts still largely cater for the needs of the single family, even though traditional families with children only account for 14% of households in England. Studying the diversity of activities and lived experiences in homes is important for capturing changing household needs and demographics in different countries and regions. It can also help develop more effective standards, policies, and regulations. By examining personal experiences, especially within the affordable and social housing sector, we sought to understand the housing issues affecting those in greatest need of support. We conducted 37 in-depth studies of affordable homes and their residents across 9 cities in England, Chile, China, the Netherlands, Switzerland, and Spain to understand how residents live. Each home was documented through photographs, drone footage, 3D interior scans, and interviews. We also used a real-time location system to analyse how participants used their home over the course of 5 days, mapping their daily activities across different rooms, areas, and times. Where multiple household members participated, we studied how they moved across the space differently and why. This home use study allowed us to discuss specific design aspects with participants, such as the size, layout, and functionality of their homes. While some were aware of their daily routines and spaces, others had previously paid little attention.
I think it just makes me more aware of where I spend my time in the home, and probably thinking that I should make a little bit more use of some areas of the home, I suppose.
But it made me more conscious my moves and my whereabouts in my own home.
The home use studies and interviews revealed some of the everyday spatial preferences, negotiations, and choices that residents have to make, as well as how different household members use domestic spaces and how activities can overlap.
That's my side, close to the window.
Why?
I just like being next to the light, and I like being next to the lamp.
However, home use tracking only tells part of the picture. Some spaces, such as bathrooms, dining tables, or balconies, while not used frequently or for extended periods, are still essential or wanted.
Y de que utilizo poco el sofá y debería utilizarlo.
不行，我可以不做，但是得有。
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, beautiful. I'm not using that. Not when I have friends for dinner, then I sit there. But most, there for the TV.
Residents often expressed a desire for greater flexibility in how underutilized spaces could be used.
Actually, I think the rooms are in a good size except the balcony. You see, I only have maybe 1 to 2 square meters balcony. There's not enough for my laundry or for my or to went out or to go out to have some fresh air. Yeah.
What's the point of having a big balcony? We're not going to sleep in the balcony, right? So why don't that space is allocates to make the room size better? Because I have 2 balconies, but I don't need 2 balconies, right?
The availability of space and its flexibility greatly depends on the type, size, and location of furniture. While space standards account for this, they can also limit flexibility by making assumptions about use. Many homes are furnished differently than originally planned by designers and developers, which is why we documented how residents actually live, with their furniture, belongings, and other household members. Residents showed us how they adapted their home, or its use, to fit their personal needs and preferences. While standards assume certain behaviour, everyday housing realities can be quite different. For example, working from home has introduced new challenges, from people working from the sofa or dining table to even having a dog or hair salon at home.
Y de repente hago uno que otro perrito acá.
We also explored, through in-depth interviews, the many other factors that can inform housing satisfaction and perceptions of housing quality, such as affordability. In England, affordable homes are offered at least 20% below market value, either as social rent, affordable rent, or shared ownership. This means that homes are not always affordable to everyone who needs housing, and shared ownership is targeted at mid-income groups.
I don't think it's affordable, but then I don't think anything is in Oxford at the moment.
In other countries with different tenure models, such as cooperatives in Switzerland, more participants feel that their homes are affordable, and in China, social rental housing can be as little as 10% of market rents. What is affordable to each person can vary widely. But how do residents define affordability? Some define it as a percentage of their income used for rent, mortgage, and bills, while others define affordability in relation to whether it suits their lifestyle, household composition, or goals.
So affordability means that I can save money, and now I'm not able to save money. It's just going from paycheck to paycheck.
Hombre, quizá no diría asequible, a lo mejor asequible no es la palabra, pero está muy bien de precio en comparación a cómo está el mercado inmobiliario. Sí.
A particular question we were interested in was how housing standardization affects daily life and housing quality. For instance, kitchens, although highly standardized in many countries, vary greatly depending on who provided the homes and what standards in provision and finishes residents expect. In Zurich and Barcelona, kitchens are fully built in and equipped with appliances. In England, kitchen provisions vary by housing association and tenure, with some supplying fully equipped kitchens and others only inbuilt furniture, but no appliances. In Santiago and Shenzhen, kitchens come with the bare minimum: water supply, sinks, and some kitchen surfaces. In Santiago, kitchens are always part of the living area, but flats have a separate utility space on a balcony, while in Shenzhen, kitchens are always separate. In England, it is common for laundry machines to be in the kitchen, whereas in other countries, they are in separate spaces, with communal facilities being common in Switzerland. What is considered acceptable in terms of layout, facilities, amenities, or available space is highly contextual and subjective. What residents consider enough space can therefore greatly vary.
Better quality, less square meters. I would always go for better quality and less square meters. So that's why I was saying 70 square meters plus minus.
I think living room is 15
square meter.
And the bedroom is 10.
But most residents don't think in square meters, as space standards do. Instead, they measure space based on their daily activities and whether they experience and perceive it as sufficient.
My eldest son is an adult and has like a longer term girlfriend. You can barely swing a cat in his bedroom. When they're younger, you don't really think about space because you can just get on with it. As they grow, you're like, the house shrinks as well.
Yo creo que los espacios son suficientemente buenos para 4 personas. Justo y preciso. En todo sentido, en aseo, en comida, en socializar con la familia, en traer visitas, justo y preciso. Ni más ni menos. Porque más grande sería más complicado. Quitaría más tiempo de no sé, de poder estar con la familia haciendo otras cosas que ordenando la casa.
Some residents felt their home was overcrowded, based on their specific needs rather than official criteria. For instance, larger households spoke about the need for more privacy and a lack of shared space, highlighting that perceptions of overcrowding are an important factor for well-being.
Sometimes the lack of space, I'm not saying it's a tiny house, it's not, but the lack of privacy, and I think that's the right way of saying it, the lack of privacy for the kids and myself creates stress and then impacts my physical health.
Equally, the lack of space can affect the mobility and accessibility of homes, and consequently, the health and well-being of residents.
I can't leap off the couch, so I can't just sit there all day long upright in a wheelchair. I need to lay down, so I need something big to lay down, and that immediately takes up a huge amount of space because I'm 6'1".
Lack of usable floor area is often exacerbated by a lack of storage space.
But I prefer more storage in the kitchen, food. My food is just one cupboard. I prefer more because it's like, this is boxes and stuff, cups, seasoning, pans and pots, plates. Just this one corner is just food, and look, it's still I need the storage, doesn't fit, it's packed.
In Chile, for example, where storage is not part of the space standards and only an open wardrobe is provided, many residents store their belongings wherever they can in their home.
El espacio a mí me acomoda muy bien, me acomoda perfecto. Pero siempre uno guarda cosas y las cosas hay que como apelotonarlas para poder meterlas dentro de los closets. Entonces, en este momento estoy con una bodega prestada. Quizás pudieron haber tenido bodega, que cada departamento tuviera su bodega.
Space shortage is also reflected in dwelling layouts and how they are perceived. While preferences for open-plan living are subjective, they also depend on individual situations.
Open plan is the way forward. In some respects, it gives people more of a sense of space without actually giving them the space.
Residents in studio flats, for example, naturally struggle with the lack of divisions for different activities.
Before, when this thing wasn't here, it felt like sleeping in the kitchen, which was not really nice.
There is enough space, but there aren't enough walls, which makes it quite complicated. Well, I would prefer to have a cabinet over here or something. Or, yeah, there's not enough space for me to put things at all.
On occasion, residents felt they had enough space, but not the flexibility to have different furniture configurations, or even use bedrooms in ways that were different from what was originally planned for by architects and developers.
Porque está preparado ya así, los enchufes y tal, ya está preparado para eso. Entonces, no es tan flexible.
We also asked residents what they think social and affordable housing should look like, and what quality design means to them and their well-being. Many residents compared their home to private homes in the same development and wanted theirs to be the same in design, appearance, and quality.
You don't feel like this is a council house, housing association property. It does not feel like it. You value yourself more. You're saying, well, you know what? You're not different from the other people that are renting.
This is in part due to aspirations, but also because differences in appearance and quality can create social stigma. Design quality is therefore not only about the material quality of homes, but also about how they are perceived by others and oneself.
I feel like you come into the estate and you've got all these big, nice houses that had all the blinds done and things, and I feel like they put all the social housing at the back right by the motorway, which is not okay. I feel like there's a little bit of discrimination going on.
The buildings in this area all together, it feels like in Barcelona or Madrid, it gives a very luxury feeling. I think that's unique for social housing.
In addition to the physical aspects, residents spoke about how the local community and neighbourhood played a very important role in their housing satisfaction, well-being, and sense of security.
Nice neighbors makes me feel safe at home.
Individual home use and experiences offer valuable insights into the unique challenges faced by different households, which need to inform more inclusive and equitable housing policies and design standards. The many realities of everyday home life challenge the often universal, one-size-fits-all understanding of the home. This raises important questions about how future standards can take into consideration diverse lived experiences and what matters to residents.